What do the rich buy that the poor don't even know is available for purchase? Kidnapping insurance. Private jet timeshares. For those not quite rich enough for their own private jet, or those rich people wanting to be a bit frugal. Time. All that crap you do. Commuting, grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning your house, waiting on hold, paying bills. All those chunks of your life that are eaten up by minutiae, rich people buy out of all that routine garbage. Time is all you really get in your life. Rich people buy it back. Something they do that most people don't know about is buy entire libraries at once. My sister used to work at a bookstore, and told me someone came in and wanted to furnish their library with a library-size purchase of books. They just wanted cherry-picked bestsellers left to the discretion of the people working there. It sounded wild. If you're willing to fork out $35,000 for the player and $500 per showing, you can watch films that are currently in theaters in your own private home theater. https://www.lifewire.com Prima Cinema Home Theater Experience 1847001. Landing 747s in small airports. I grew up around Lexington, Kentucky. The region is huge on horses, particularly thoroughbred horses. The entire city is surrounded by horse farms, and these farms breed some of the best racing horses in the world. The rich and famous will often come here to buy thoroughbreds to add to their breeding stock. One such person is a sheik from Dubai, I think, who owns his own private 747. Now the local airport isn't rated for 747s, and it's not legal to land one there unless it's an emergency. The sheik doesn't care though and lands his 747 there anyways. The airport fines him every time he does this, which he is totally fine with paying. I've been told that many of the upgrades to the airport over the years were almost entirely funded with money from those fines. Underage sex parties on private islands. Private boarding gate at certain airports. Complete with showers, a spa, full bar, lounge, food, a bed, gym, sauna, etc. Total privacy. Your luggage is scanned and taken through security by a concierge, and you're driven to the plane in a BMW 8 Series. LAX has them now. Specialized household staff. When someone is truly mega rich, running their household takes the same complexity as running a small to mid-size company, and management is skilled and compensated accordingly. Don't think butler, think head of operations at a luxury hotel. The staff that household managers oversee can be really specialized as well. For example, Larry Ellison has his own personal curator to oversee his collection of Asian art. They do things like advise on the purchase and sale of art in his collection, oversee storage and display of art housed on his property, oversee process of lending art for storage and display at museums. The curator will often have their own staff to conduct actual conservation work, art transport, art installation, etc. So if you've already got an in-house crew of 7 people focused on your art collection alone, imagine how big your entire household staff is. That's why you've got a household manager. Everyone knows about mega yachts, but the very rich also enjoy their own trains, or at the very least private super luxurious train cars. With their budgets, it isn't expensive to rent space on freight lines and an engine, assuming they don't own their own. Sometimes a group of friends will hook their private cars together and motor around a continent having a big party. Pet cloning. Ex-boss was getting his dog cloned for $100,000. Luxury ice cubes. Glacé Luxury Ice Co. produces perfectly square ice blocks for minimum dilution and maximum cooling. Hand-carved and completely clear, these cubes are sold in bags of 50 and each bag costs $325. Entire floors of hotels or multiple floors. Entire restaurants. Chefs from literally any restaurant in the world to cook for them, wherever they are. I saw all of those things done by a prince of Saudi Arabia. We estimated it cost him $50,000 just for the one private meal in our restaurant, given that he 1. had the top 4 floors of our hotel booked, for the hundreds of staff to take care of him, his wife and his 2 kids. Plus likely some concubines, if I'm being honest. As someone in this part of the world, being rich equals the number of people who work for you. 2. He paid $30,000 just to close our restaurant for one meal. 3. Flew his favorite chef from New York to Orlando to cook for him, on his private jet. And then back again. Of course, it was likely the other private jet he had just for his staff, not for himself or his family. 4. Make food our entire staff, all the kitchen staff, all the federal, state and local security and him, his wife and his 2 kids. I have posted the entire story somewhere else in the past, but I couldn't find it easily. I had a buddy who taught ski lessons to another Saudi prince's little kid and had some nearly unbelievable and yet similar details during his interactions with them. That kid had an entire team around him, or probably 10 staff, plus vehicles, snowmobiles, a helicopter, and so on. I later met a guy who worked on an ultra-luxury 300-foot yacht and served Bill Gates and his wife, among other super-rich people. Their primary job was to operate without interacting with them, or at least as little as possible. This shows you, in some sense, that having people around you doing stuff you need to be done but doing it invisibly is another perk of being rich. I had a buddy who hired a driver, got him to get a chauffeur's license, and then made sure his Jaguar was long enough to meet criteria as a limo, and then he could legally drink in the backseat. When I traveled with him internationally, someone met us at the door when we were dropped off, and they walked us to our plane. None of that customs, security stuff occurred. Private performances with big-name artists. I was on a yacht in the Virgin Islands and some mega yacht owner pretty close to us had Christina Aguilera flown in to perform for his guest on the mega yacht. We were close enough to see the performance, not close enough to pretend to be part of the party. A platinum retriever. A person to go to jail for you in your stead. This is a known phenomenon in Latin America, but I imagine it happens in other places as well. You can buy houses, ready to move in only with a suitcase. These houses are more than fully equipped. Everything is already there, like the whole furniture, glasses, knives, forks, spoons, tissues and toilet paper, towels, toys and games for the children, etc. I don't know. Unique items. Occasionally you see in the news stuff like, hat used in some popular movie auctioned for $80,000, or 5,000-year-old Egyptian statue auctioned for $2 million, and I think, what kind of auction do you even go to buy that kind of thing? I'm not rich, but due to the fact that my dad was a top-level government official and I went to a very elite private boarding school, I hung out with some fabulously wealthy kids, i.e. rich parents. What surprised me is what a portion of very rich people don't buy. I noticed that a surprising percentage of very wealthy people don't buy super fancy cars. For example, one family who owned a world-famous beverage company all drove around in nondescript SUVs or minivans. Some rich people are extremely flashy, but others are almost manic about not being seen as crass, and to those people, a supercar is crass. But apparently having a $10 million home in Palm Beach is not crass face with rolling eyes. Removed. Poor people. Casual travel. The poor know that planes exist and that people travel overseas. The rich go to Paris for the weekend to catch up with friends for a couple of beers and wine. A while back some guy on here was talking about his experience working as a sort of personnel manager for a billionaire and how things are just wildly different for them. The specific example he used was how things work when these people want to go on a trip, and give any notice at all to their employees. What happens is that an advanced team gets sent ahead by a few days to scope out the rented, bought location and report back exact dimensions for closet space, drawer space, etc. People back at the home go through the clothing, jewelry, etc., and draw up a priority list which is sent to the advanced team. The advanced team then spends the next 2 days purchasing the list of items. Entire wardrobes, jewelry sets, makeup kits, bathing supplies, etc. Anything they cannot get, not enough time, or is one of a kind like the family heirloom watch the rich dude wears every now and then, is relayed to the house team. The family's schedule is arranged such that the moment the family leaves the house on the day of travel, a whole team of people rushes through and packs up all the remaining items, only after the family leaves. You wouldn't want to deny them access to their items for even a few seconds, which are then sent ahead to the airport while the family has a lunch or something somewhere. Upon landing, their luggage takes one route, direct, and the family takes a similarly indirect route. unless otherwise directed, such that by the time they get to the location all of their items are not just unpacked but in their proper organized locations and ready for use without any of the advanced team ever being visible to the family. What happens when the family leaves the location? The same situation in reverse, but quite frequently all of the repurchased items are just disposed of in some method. It's just easier, if not cheaper, to rebuy them each time the family goes somewhere if they aren't traveling to too many different locations in quick succession. You think your platinum card is cutting it? Please. Centurion is the way to go. https://thepointsguy.com guide. Amex Centurion Black Card. It'll cost 10 grand just to get one. Initial fee to join and the first annual fee, but you get everything. The Crystal Method are playing a local venue and you want to go backstage and shoot the shit with Scott Kirkland because you're interested in donating to his favorite causes, because you've always admired the guy, his political opinions, and his music. That can be arranged. Want a table at Schwa in Chicago, E in Vegas, Schloss Schauenstein in Furstenau, or Aragawa in Tokyo? They'll get you in tomorrow. Need a full itinerary plan for a week in Paris? Need that new iPhone on day one but don't want to stand in line? Want to stay at the most luxurious place in Ibiza for the days Pete Tong is at the Blue Marlin? They do this in their sleep. It's a butler and concierge and local expert and best friend that knows a guy you'll ever meet. All just a call away. Actual smart homes. The Alexa, Google Home market is bringing it more mainstream, but for decades the wealthy elite have had smart home functionality through companies like Crestron. The controls go far beyond controlling your lights and thermostat, and integrate with more technologies. Human organs. Steve Jobs used his fortune to game the system. A quote from the article. Jobs couldn't pay for an organ. http://ABC News. Go. Com. Health. Story. Id equals 4,966,543 and page equals 1. Nor could he pay to cut the queue. But what? Someone with Jobs resources. http://ABC News. Go. Com. Health. CEO profiles. Story. Id equals 6,649,035 and page equals 1. Could do. According to liver transplant surgeons and ethicists, is to use money and mobility to improve the odds either by going to an area of the country where there are more organ donors, or by signing up at multiple transplant centers. It's not for anybody but the rich. It's called multiple listing, a practice some would say is unethical, said Arthur Kaplan, co-chair of the United Nations Task Force on Organ Trafficking and chair of the Department of Medical Ethics at University of Pennsylvania. https://ABC News. Go. Com. Health. Economy. Story. Id equals 7,902,416 and page equals 1. https://ABC News. Go. Com. Health. Economy. Story. Id equals 7,902,416 and page equals 1.